Hello everyone, today is Move It Monday, September 1st, 2025. I am Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. And today is day number 140 with X39. As you see I'm wearing here, that's on the acupuncture point on the body. The strongest one, I think. And every morning when I get up, I feel fantastic. I cannot begin to express how it feels to be in the zone, if you want to call it. You know, when you have a good night's rest and you wake up and you feel like, yeah, today's the day. More and more each day it feels like that. And I have the energy to do these kind of exercises on a day-to-day basis. So today is Labor Day up in Kanukistan. I know that Kanukistan. Yes, the Tayana Chekic. She made me smile this morning with a short little video about that. And if you're watching, good on you. I'm getting my dose of what I think is the highest standard in terms of water, with a bond angle of 114 degrees. I know I'm a broken record when I talk about it because I know what it does. I know how it feels. And when I combine it with the X39, and by the way, I do reuse patches because a lot of us out there, we're struggling. That includes yours truly. I'm struggling. Can't find a job. That's why I'm here. You know, blabbing my mouth every single day. But sometimes talk is cheap. Right? That's why I demonstrate in real time what my body is capable of at the age of 48. Soon to be 49! And in 2026, I will be the big 5-0. It's quite a milestone for a lot of people, especially when you get that age. Do you feel like you're 50? If you do, then maybe it's time to start thinking about how you might want to reverse that. We know that water is very important. And how clean is your water? The reason why I asked this question, because yesterday I decided it was time to change the filters in my reverse osmosis system. So I'm going to show you the pictures that I took yesterday. This here is the sediment filter. The one, as you see, with the green arrow is the new one. And there's the old one, the red. And when I opened it up, I thought, wow, okay, it's due now, right? Largely because the inner ring that you see there in the picture, the white ring, that means that the water is going from the outside and passing through towards the center. You know, it kind of passes like this. And could I have left the sediment filter in there for maybe another few weeks? Yeah, I probably could have, but I chose not to. And because when they're new, they're pretty clean. So how many hours or how many liters did it take to get to that point? Well, some say, depending on how much water you run, through your RO system, 1,500 gallons or something like that, they say, you should change it. One of the things that I do on a regular basis, I'll show you. Is that I use what is called a parts per million meter. And you can get these off of Amazonia, eBayonia. Well, I don't know if you can find them at Walmart. Probably find them different places, where you can buy water-related devices. And this is called parts TDS and EC meter. Like, they're generally pretty reliable. One thing that I do is I continually use the same one, so don't mix and match, right? And when I measure the pure 114 degree bond angle water, it reads 0 on this thing. 0 ppm. Every single time. The runoff that comes off the machine, I've read as low as 3 parts per million, and that's pretty incredible for to increase the output of the water at 114 degrees. Now, as your filters age, such as the sediment filter, and then also I'm going to show you, the carbon block. You can see here, the green is the new one on the left, and the old one on the right. And the age of the sediment filter that I just showed you prior is the same age as the carbon block that you see here on the screen. And so, in my particular RO system, I have 2 carbon blocks. And one of them was slightly lighter in color. So that was telling me I was reaching the age or the life of the filters itself. So I replaced the sediment filter, 2 carbon block filters, and a final, they call it GAC filter on the model that I have, which is a Watts Premier. It's now, I think, a generation old, but you can still get the filters for it to replace it, so which is wonderful. And by cleaning the water before it goes into treatment for 114 degrees bond angle, it increases the output, but also the efficiency of the machine itself, because now you have no deposits hanging around and floating around in the boiler, which is, I'm going to show you. These are those deposits. So, you see the color, my shirt, and that of the. So you can really tell there, the color of the sediments is coming out, right? But if I don't use the RO, then this goes into the machine and it reduces its output. Here's another piece. You can kind of, this one here. This one is slightly, they're both dark. But you get my idea, right? So, the importance behind drinking clean water, but also the most absorbable is really valuable for your health. And it's, like I said the other day, I believe water is the glue to help the body do what it needs to do. Build cells, build organs, build brain cells, maintain good blood quality. The list goes on and on and on. Now, water is one piece of good health. What else do we need? We need to have minerals. We need to have proteins, nitrogen. We need to have sugars. We need to have some carbs, right? Body needs to have some energy. But we also need, let's say, light. So that's 5 things. We also need good rest. So that way you give your body the opportunity to repair cells or that are not moving that fast. And that includes muscle cells. And if you are negating these things, then you're going to suffer some consequences from it. So it's important to manage your health in ways that kind of are good for you. And you have to pay attention to that. It's kind of like having a sixth sense. Whereas you know when things feel good and you know when things don't feel so good. Because the body is a master at compensating for things. It happens when you exercise or when you're lifting stuff. If it doesn't feel right, your body's going to just naturally compensate to say, oh, this thing's too heavy, so you're going to twist or whatever to try to get it. You know, lift a rock off the ground. You know how a huge boulder of sorts, right? Your body's going to try to compensate because you just can't grab it and pick it up. You need to have leverage and, proper form as well. But if it's too heavy, then your body's going to say, I'm going to start trying to cheat. And when you start cheating is when things can happen, such as injuries. And that's why it's important to know if you're going to do exercises, you should be thinking about that too. And I'll demonstrate which I think are safe to make sure, but I also learned from whom I believe is one of the top trainers in the United States. He's rated in the top 50 in the United States. So, do I have to have a certification to know or to regurgitate what he taught me to you? I need to have a license to know how to move my body? I know it feels right and I know it feels wrong, but I also do it smartly too. And I hope you do that as well by not overexerting yourself, because it's important to use proper form and make sure that if you're doing any exercise, that the muscle is actually doing the work, and then you can reap the benefits from it. And speaking of benefits, I will get to that momentarily here. But I wanted to also show this little article here, which is a guy that was talking about PECs, fittings that you can buy and put them into your home, This is what's happening. So when I see this here, he's talking about polybutylene, which is kind of like, I think this is more vinyl chloride, personally, because vinyl chloride as part of PVC is a strong component. And when water is under pressure and it's being